everyone, welcome to Yorkshire Gamer's monthly Wargames update, and we're in September 2021, and it's been a steady away month. I was away on holiday for the last 2 weeks in September, but did that stop me gaming and prepping and buying stuff? Did it buggery like. So here we go, here's the usual sections, and we'll start off with what we've done from the lead pile to the painted pile. So first up this month we've got a unit of 28mm Italian Wars Peri Miniatures Westernised Stradiots, unit of 12 figures. These come from the Metal European Armies range for the Peris, and they do a set of 6 westernised Stradiots, which are metal mounted figures, and you buy plastic horses to go with them, and then 3 of the figures are standard Stradiots from the metal range, which come with metal horses, fitted together in a unit of 12, and these represent the Stradiots who came initially from Albania and the Balkans area as mercenaries for Vienna, and then for Venice, and then spread out throughout most of Italy, and became one of the most recognisable Italian light cavalry units in the Italian wars. So you can never have enough of these. I've already got 24 of these, but I've got another 24 that I'm adding, and these are the first 12. These are all armed with bows, and great looking, bit plain for the Italian wars, but you can't have everything in flouncy shirts and 1,000 flags everywhere. So let's just have a look at some of these in a little bit more detail. So here we have the command base. My bases are 50 wide at the front, 60 deep. I always put a bit of extra depth on my bases just to protect the figures. And we can see here these are the top hat armed Stradiots. Everyone likes somebody who goes into battle dressed in a top hat. And these guys are fairly plain shields. There's not a lot of detail out there around Stradiot shields, and some of them shown in pictures are just plain wood, so I've not gone too crazy with those. And we've just given the unit one of the standard flags from Pete's, and this is a flag that I've used before for my Stradiots, so I've just kept it the same. The eagle-eyed amongst you may well recognise that my leader is wearing a Bradford City scarf, and we need all the support at the moment we can get, because we are absolutely dreadful. But I always like to do little touches like that with my units. If it's got a Bradford City scarf on or a Bradford City shirt, you know it's one of my units without a shadow of a doubt. So that's the main guy, and then I'll just bring another one of the bases into the picture, and just a regular base here with 2 bowmen. These are the metal guys. I just love the way the Peris do their faces. It perfectly matches the way that I paint. So that's great. So there we go. First unit this month is a unit of 12 Stradiots. So if you've been following these updates regularly, you will know that one of the projects I've got ongoing that I've been building up to starting is Arab-Israeli Wars. Mid-1980s, around the time of the Lebanon War, and based on Team Yankee models. Although, as I've probably said before, I'm not convinced about Team Yankee rules yet. I'm going to give them a go with a different activation system and see how they work, see how we get on. But you'll have seen new stuff coming in over the last few months, and that's what I tend to do. I tend to build up a stock of figures before I embark on a project, and we've seen that with the Italian Wars of Independence, which I'm going to start in a couple of months' time. In the meantime, I'm going to get all this Oil Wars stuff finished, and first up here we've got some at the start of the Israeli forces. I've got 4 of these MERKAVA tanks here. Great looking tank, bit of a beast really, compared to a lot of the stuff that's in the Arab-Israeli Wars, but around mid sort of Lebanon time, 200-300 MERKAVAs compared to you know, a lot more M60s, still M48s and Centurions kicking around in their Magak and shot variations for the Israelis, and you'll see some of those tanks coming through over the next few weeks and months. So just have a little bit of a detailed look at one of these. So there's a side-on view of one of the MERKAVAs, the one that I've done with a commander. Lovely little commander figures with these, great detailed models, easy to put together, easy to paint, easy to weather. Very impressed with them. There's not a lot I can say wrong with these Battlefront Team Yankee stuff. Very well done, and decent price as well compared to the metal stuff. That's the only other option for this particular period. So that's the 4 Israeli tanks that I've done. I might have done some more Syrians. So here's the first of the Syrians, and here's 9 bog standard T62s, and these are, again, for everything that I've got is from Battlefront so far. I've just bought some Peter Pig shots, the modified Israeli Centurions, so that will be the first non-Battlefront. But these are 9 that I've got. I bought a pack of an Egyptian T62s for Fate of a Nation, which is kind of set slightly earlier. Sorry for that. And these are great models. Again, lots of detail, and I've painted them in. I'll just do a bit of a detailed shot if we can get in. There we go. I've painted them in a 3-colour cam scheme, which is what the Syrians would use. Again, apologies for these changes of lighting. It's the sunshine outside going behind the clouds. And it's a sandy yellow, a dark green, and a grey, lightish to mid-grey colour. Heavily weathered. A lot of the pictures that I find of the Syrian stuff is extremely heavily weathered, and the pattern, unless it's freshly done, is very hard to make out. I'm not sure who does the maintenance schedule on these tanks, but they keep going mechanically, but they don't look too brilliant. So that's I've done these initially with sprayed them black as a primer, and then I've used desert yellow from Army Painter as a base coat. And then I've used my airbrush to do the dark green and the grey, and then I've just painted them as I normally would with washes and dry brushing to get the weathering effect. Markings wise, I've not gone over the top with these. All I've done is, if you look on the side of each tank, I've hand painted some Arabic numerals. So this is 14 if I remember correctly, because the one that looks like 3 isn't 3, it's 4, and the one that looks like 0 isn't 0, it's 6, I can't remember. But so that's all I've done. I've individually numbered each tank, not in a official Syrian way, in a I can identify them on the battlefield way. It looks realistic. Normally they would have 3 numbers, but I've just done them 2. And then some of them, as you can see with this guy here, we've got a tank commander in there. Had to use the Russian ones because obviously they don't do a separate Syrian one, but I think they look rather nice. They are just add something to the model when the commander's out of the hatch. Again, this is the first one that I did that's got a 3-digit number. But there we go, so that's some T62s, and I'll just bring more Syrian stuff out. And the next Syrian tanks are T62s again. With this being a fictitious area, the oil war, I've included some upgraded T62s here that you can see, so that just to give the Syrians a little bit of a chance really. One of the challenges with this war will be to make the games interesting and balanced, rather than in the first part of the Lebanon War, the Israeli Air Force just went in, completely destroyed all the Syrian Air Force, had absolute and total air superiority, and we all know what happens when one side has that. So just to balance things up as well with better, worse tanks, etc., I have introduced some slightly later and purely Russian, I would think at this time anyway, upgraded T-62s. So that's 14 tanks so far. And pretty much the same with these. These are T-64s, again from the Team Yankee range. These would normally be painted up for Western Europe. The Russians didn't export any of these T-64s, but again, we've got that fictitious bit in '85, and I think one of the Team Yankee books does talk about T-64s being exported to the Middle East. So there we go. Just to mix things up a little bit for the Arab side, just to give them a little bit of a chance. We've got that three-tone Syrian camo again on these. There's just a little bit of space on the back side there. Let's zoom in on this one. Yes, there's a close-up of the T-64. There's only a little bit of space on the back of the turret here. Again, I've just used those Arabic numerals, 23 I think we've got there, just to give each tank some individuality so that we can recognise it when it comes onto the battlefield. Tank commander out of the cupola on this one. All painted in exactly the same way as I described earlier on, and then with these we've got a lot of kit stuck on the turret, so I've just added the number on the right hand side of the rear skirt, just so it fits in. So there we go, there's the tanks that I've done so far. And of course we did some infantry and some transport for our infantry, so here's some BMP ones, again done with the three-tone camo scheme, and we've got the Arab numerals on the side of the turret, 3 digits with these, that's 100, and then the missile on top of the gun, painted that white. I wasn't quite 100% sure what colour it should be, but I think most of the pictures I can find of ones that do have them on, because most of them don't, it's white. So there's 5 BMP ones and just a couple of vehicles left to go. And the final 2 Syrian vehicles that I've got done this month are these 2. Shulker anti-aircraft guns, and same camo, same duo, just got Arabic numerals on the side of them. So that's not bad. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 20, 26 vehicles this month for my Syrians, and 4 for my Israelis. So 30 vehicles in the month. Can't really complain with that. So there you go, there's the Syrian army to date, and I've ordered a little bit more this week. I've ordered some T-72s, some OT-64s, and I think that's it. Maybe some more infantry, which you might just see coming up next. So I think that's a decent start there for my Syrian force. Looking forward to getting these on the table hopefully next month. So let's go and have a look at work in progress. So here we go with work in progress. There's going to be a little bit more this month because I've got quite a lot on the go for different things. So there's a bit to look at this month in this section rather than just one unit. So I'll rattle through these. And first up, we've got these Israelis, and this is the Israeli force that I've bought to match up with the Syrians that we just looked at in the stuff that we've finished. And in here we've got some M60s or Magak 6s. I've got 5 of those to paint. There are another 4 MERKAVAs to go with the 4 that we've already done. A section of 4 M113 transports. a couple of captured shilkers, and then these wonderful strange beasts, the Pereth. Oh, I've just realised I haven't finished the weathering on that. That's a job to do. Wonderful anti-tank missile units that disguised as tanks. They were classified for a very, very long time, which is why when I saw them in the Oil War book, I went, oh, bloody hell's them. But yeah, they were around for a long, long time, but never actually, general public were never actually aware of them. So yeah, great looking strange beast, but there we go. So that is the Israelis that I have got on the go. All these at the moment have just been sprayed black. Then I've used my airbrush to paint them cyanide grey. And if you're wondering why they're not sand yellow, the Israeli army changed from sand yellow to cyanide grey, which is the colour that you're looking at, around 82-83 at the Lebanon War, which is the period that I'm doing mine in, which is why they're this colour grey. So they've been airbrushed with that and then given a little bit of modulation, a little bit of weathering in terms of I've put some washes in the recesses, and they're going to be painted up soon and should be done by the end of the month, because it's just detailing work that needs doing on those. So that's the Israeli forces, ground forces. And also in the currently being painted pile, we've got these, a couple of Syrian Hinds, and as you can see, these have been base painted, and the camouflage has been put on with an airbrush, so they're just waiting for detailing to be done. So a bit of firepower for the Syrians there, and then I've got a couple of these Israeli Cobras, very nice models. They've just been base coated. I've not done anything other than the base coat with those. And then finally, a little bit of Israeli Air Force. I've got a couple of Skyhawks. So they're on the go. Just one final thing to look at into work in progress. So last month, I think it was last month, did the Israeli infantry, and I've started on the Syrian infantry now, and these are 15mm 1 to 100 to go with the Team Yankee stuff. And probably best if I just zoom in and show you what we're doing with these. It's always a bit difficult to show off 15mm. I'm struggling with my eyes painting these at the moment, but there we go. So the Syrians, bless them, had a 3-tone camo scheme with like a sandy khaki base with dark brown and dark green flecks in it as the camo. And you can see on this one here, which is nearly completed, there's just some base work to do on that, what I've done with those. And I'm quite happy with it, to be fair. Look, they've come out quite nicely. There's a lot of detail in there, and I'm sure by the time I get to the 100th base, I'll be wishing I'd done them slightly easier. But they've come out quite nicely, and tiny little bit of wash on it, not all over the whole figure, because I don't want to kill the camouflage. I think sometimes if you do a lovely camouflage pattern and then you wash or ink the whole figure, you lose that contrast between the different parts of the camo scheme, and that's what makes the camo scheme look good, is the contrast between the various parts. Because looking at that now, you can see how that camouflage scheme works, how it's breaking up the shapes of the individuals. So I'm happy with them. I'm not too happy that I've probably got 200 of them to paint, and they're currently the things that are on the workbench at the moment and will end up getting done first, so I can get a game in, because I've got some Israeli infantry. You've seen all the Syrian tanks. Get a few more Israelis done, and I think we're ready for a game, which will be great. So there you go, that's work in progress. So let's have a look what we spent our dosh on. How much? So it's been a fairly steady month on the wallet. We'd be going away. Obviously, we were spending brass on that, so the free dosh this month was fairly limited. So I've only bought one actual wargaming thing, which is this, and some Marders for my curse project because I didn't have any anti-tank guns. So I've built one up already, as you can see, and 5 in that pack, and that will go into the long-running curse project, which is next in the pipeline. Hopefully, after the oil war stuff, I'll crack on with some curse stuff before I start the Italian Wars of Independence in December. So we've bought that. I bought a couple of other bits and pieces, not strictly wargaming, but you might be interested, so I'll show those as well. Next up is this bad boy, and I was in my favourite shop in the world, Wonderland Models in Edinburgh. And I don't build a lot of kits, but I just wanted something to do whilst I was on holiday, whilst drinking and some more whiskey. And I picked up this, a MERKAVA, just to fit in with my 15mm stuff that I'm doing. And if you notice, this is in the sand yellow, so this is pre-83. Whereas my stuff is in the Sinai grey. And the Tamiya kits, it was only 20 quid, which I think is pretty reasonable. And we've built up the turret, and it's all ready. All the big bits are done, so we're kind of ready for a bit of spraying and a bit of painting and weathering and all that sort of stuff. How long it'll take me to get done, God knows. I've got a Tiger tank that I started about 10 years ago downstairs that I've not got around to painting yet. But I enjoyed putting it together while we were on holiday. And if you're in Edinburgh, please go to Wonderland Models. Buy something from a shop. We need to keep these bricks and mortar stores open, and Wonderland Models has been there all my life that I can remember. I remember going there as a kid of 5 or 6 and buying models. And I was quite horrified to hear in there was a guy and a young lad going round, and the lad was wanting to buy this model, and the guy said, no, we'll go home and we'll buy it online. And that's not going to keep your shops open, ladies and gentlemen. That's not going to help at all. And yes, if you're short of money and you want stuff, fair enough, but these people weren't short of brass. And support your model shops, keep those people in business, keep those people in jobs, and it gives us somewhere to go to when we're on holiday and drag the missus around. There's nothing better than looking at your missus's bored face as you pick up the 97th model and go, what do you think of this one, love? So there we go. That's the models I've bought, and I've bought a game, would you believe, as well. So occasionally Mrs. Riley does like a game, not war gaming, but she likes card games and stuff like that. So I picked this up, and this is something that my mate Alex, Storm of Steel, has been playing quite regularly, and it's ARKHAM horror card game. If you're not into this sort of stuff, then flick forward. But it is a wonderful bit of kit. I think it was about 35 quid for this box, and basically it's you are an investigator, and you go to various places and investigate the paranormal. And if you look at the cards, the card quality of the art and it's just absolutely amazing. Somebody's painted all these. And they are really nice. Plays well. We had a couple of games when we were on holiday and really enjoyed it. And there's lots of expansion packs and stuff that you can buy, and just something a bit different than the normal figure gaming that I do, and quite enjoyed it. So if you're looking for something a bit different, I can recommend this. Very much enjoyable. And bob along to Alex's Storm of Steel YouTube channel, check out some of his playthroughs on what to do with it. So there we go, that's what we spent this month. Let's go on the front line. Welcome to On the Front Line, and apologies for shaky cam now. I'm just holding this on a tripod, so it's going to be a little bit shaky. And look at that, those light specks on the sand are sunshine, and this is Yorkshire in September. What an amazing thing to see. So this is the table that we've just, this is the end of the game. We finished and played this through in one day. And this is game 10 of our Operation Compass campaign. And it's a campaign that's available from the Two Fat Lardies web store for about £8, I think it is. A chap called Mr. Avery, I can't remember his first name, designed it, and it's really good. We've done 10 of the scenarios. We changed them a little bit just to fit with us because we're not playing Two Fat Lardies rules, we're playing our own rules, but we've just done a couple of tweaks just to make them work better for us. So this is our normal 12 by 6 table, and this is a scenario that's set in 1940, just after the December 1940, just after the first lot of forts have been captured and the Italians are falling back on their positions at Bardia. And this road here is the road from Fort Capuzzo, which is up there in the blue sky, and the last remnants of the Italian force from Fort Capuzzo, namely the cooks and all the supplies, are coming back along this road, which leads to Bardia. And the Italian commander, desperate for a bit of pasta, has sent his tanks out to safely escort the cooks and pasta and sausage, etc., back to Bardia. Unfortunately, for the Italians, the Brits are aware of this and they've sent a small unit of faster tanks than a Matilda, what isn't faster than a Matilda, out onto the table. And there was, spin round, there was 3 Mark 6 light tanks, but they didn't get on the table. Which is a real shame, but there we go. So this is the end of our game. I'm just in the process of writing it up, so if you are interested in this sort of stuff, have a look at Yorkshire Gamer blog in a few days' time, and Game 10 Operation Compass, and I'll explain exactly what's gone on in this particular game. These are my lovely A9 tanks that you saw at the start of the video this month, and hand painted quarter scheme, none of that fancy masking tape or any of that rubbish, all done freehand. Warlord miniatures, don't have the side skirts on for the sand, unfortunately, but there we go, beggars can't be choosers. And they were behind my lovely brand new Waddy from Last Valley, which is its first outing, and I was driving tanks up and down the Waddy just because I could, because it was my new Waddy. In the middle there we've got the HQ A9, whose 2-pounder had stopped working, so it was going around machine gunning everything. And then if you look along the road, you can see a single CV-33, the 20mm anti-tank gun that's firing at the A9 with not a lot of success. And then the other two CV-33s on the way back home. Some burning trucks that have been destroyed by the British, and then everything happened. You have a 12 by 6 table and everything happens in a 3-foot square, always the way. All the British reinforcements came on at this end of the table, which is where the Italians were trying to get off and where the Italian tanks came on. So we ended up with a massive tank battle down here. The Brits have lost an A10, whereas the Italians have lost 3 M1139s to tank fire, and one, rather hilariously, the one you can see with the slightly smaller, lower plume of smoke, that is the Italian commander, and he came on the table and rolled a breakdown and rolled again, and his engine set on fire and he had to abandon the tank. So that was the Italian commander done after 2 turns. Not shot at, anything like that. He broke down and his vehicle set on fire, which we thought was quite amusing. So there you go, that's the game we've played this month. We've been away for 2 weeks. We haven't done much else. And October, We've got things like Partizan and stuff, so I'm not sure how many games I'll get in. But there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that little run through our last game. And it's that time of the month again, just to see what's going on in the world of Yorkshire Gamer. Up across the board again, the usual 10, 15 or so on Facebook. Steady away on Twitter's up 39. Instagram, please tell me what I'm doing because I've got absolutely no idea. Another 151, coming up to 2,500. It's just gone crazy on there. Post pictures of the Italian wars or the Crusade stuff, it's getting 1,000 likes plus, so I don't know what I'm doing different to everyone else, but there we go. YouTube's up 62, 1124. Great to see that over 1,000, and great to see everyone watching this sort of stuff. Podcast up 8, which is fairly, I don't know how the podcast goes, but it seems to be quite hard to get followers on Podbean. I think a lot of that is because people follow through Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So there's lots of different places that people consume that media from. So, but podcast is going really well. If you don't listen to it, it does come up on the YouTube channel a couple of 3 weeks after it's been aired on the audio version, and the last one, which will come onto YouTube probably next week, with Robbie Roddis talking about Robbie's great collection of stuff. He was the guy who got me into the Italian wars, and also Peter Gilder, and that's just gone crazy, that episode. It's up to 500 listens already after just over a week, and it's probably done a third more than any of the other episodes so far. So if you're new to that, if you're new to the YouTubes, or if you follow me anywhere, I can't thank you enough for the interest. And as most of you will know, if you do fire me any questions, you can send them in the links to this at the bottom of the video via email to yorkshiregamer@gmail.com, or through the podcast and our Ask Our Nora feature, which will be coming up in, if not the next episode, the one after, where we do like a funny problem page. And you can send all your questions in and I'll try and answer them. If you've got any queries about rules that we use, or the painting that I do, or anything that I can help wargaming wise, drop me a line and I'll do the best I can. So thanks for watching that bit. It's been another great month with lots of new people coming into Yorkshire Gamer. I will be probably at Partizan in a couple of weeks' time, and I will definitely be at Fiasco with my Italian Wars collection. I'll be wearing the Yorkshire Gamer shirt that you saw a couple of months ago on here. So come and say hello, and be nice to see some faces after all this time. So I'll just leave you with this shot from our desert game that was featured in on the Frontline. Dave, our cameraman, getting a bit close to the flames there, bless him. But he gets paid danger money, so he'll be quite happy with that, will the lad. Next month, as I said, just mentioned, we're looking at putting a game on at Fiasco. Looking at hopefully getting to Partizan, do a bit of shopping. Game wise, hoping to possibly get a Team Yankee game in if I can get some Syrians done. Other than that, we've got we're going to be busy. I'm going to be busy with work, so we might not get a game before next October. Or the next edition of this, which is, I try to put them out around the 20th of the month, and a little bit late this month when we're going on holiday. Thanks once again for your interest. Thank you very much for watching this, and hopefully I'll see you in person at one of the shows. If not, I'll see you next month. See you.